This week you have learned multiplying and dividing fractions, which most of you probably feel is a little bit easier than adding and subtracting fractions. Let's do a quick review of multiplying and dividing. When you multiply fractions, you want to first check if you can simplify within the problem, and then you just simply multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. So you check for any number that can be simplified on the top with a number on the bottom. In this case, you can simplify 2 and 6. You can divide those both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And once you simplify, once there's nothing else you can simplify top and bottom, you just multiply your numerators. So 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9. So your final answer, in simplest form, is 4 ninths. We also talked about how division is exactly the same thing as multiplication when you flip your second fraction. We talked about how when you think about half or multiplying by a half, mentally what you do is divide by 2. So dividing by 2, which you can write as 2 over 1, is the same thing as multiplying by 1 over 2. Those two are the same thing. Since this is the case, we are going to change all division problems to multiplication and flip our second fraction, which is called the reciprocal. We are going to multiply by the reciprocal. Let's look at an example of division. When you have a division problem such as 4/5 divided by 9/10, we do not want to do division because 4 divided by 9 is ugly. So what you do is you keep your first fraction the same, change division to multiplication, and flip your second fraction upside down. Now you have a simple multiplication problem, which you know how to do. You look for numbers on the top and bottom that you can cross-cancel or simplify. You can do that with 5 and 10. You can divide those both by 5, so that leaves you with 1 and 2. And then you multiply across the top. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 9 is 9. So your final answer is 8 ninths. So now we are going to step up our game, and we are going to talk about multiplying and dividing mixed numbers. This is going to follow the same rules as dividing and multiplying. However, it involves one extra step. So if our example is 1 4/5 times 2 1/3. What you need to do first is to convert these to improper fractions. So what you want to do is convert this to an improper fraction. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Remember that your denominator stays the same. You also want to do it with your other mixed number. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Now you just multiply your mixed numbers. You follow the same process that you did with multiplying fractions. You can simplify your 9 and your 3, divide them both by 3, and then multiply across. 3 times 7 is 21. 5 times 1 is 5. You have an improper fraction, so go ahead and convert that back to a mixed number. 5 goes into 21 4 times. There is 1 left over. Your denominator always stays the same. So 4 1/5. The same thing works for dividing fractions. If you have a problem such as 3 1/5 divided by 2 1/4, again, change your mixed numbers to improper fractions. So this one, 5 times 3 plus 1 is 16/5. Do not change it to multiplication yet. So it's still a division problem. We're just rewriting it. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9/4. Now, it's a division problem. We don't necessarily like to do division problems. We change division to multiplication, flip our second fraction upside down, and you leave your first fraction alone. You check to see if there is anything that you can simplify or cancel, and there is not. So you just need to do the multiplication. 16 times 4 is 64. 5 times 9 is 45. And then go ahead and convert that to a mixed number. 45 goes into 64 one time. And then if you have one group of 45, you would have 19 left over. And you always keep your denominator the same. So your final answer would be 1 and 19/45. That's it. The only difference today is that before you multiply or divide, you need to convert your mixed numbers to improper fractions. Good luck!